know him from radio or follow him on social media. His name is Marconi, and this is the Bologna Podcast.
Are you sure you meant to click on this? Well, anyway, thanks for listening to the Bologna Podcast. My name is Marconi. Just what you need in your life, another podcast. Am I right? The great thing about podcasting is you really literally can't be fired. I mean, unless the internet blocks your IP address, and then you've done something really, really wrong. So here I am. I have about 1,000 podcasts, and this is one of them, and you're lucky enough to have found it. A lot of people are talking about how Obama website, the healthcare website, isn't working and it's crap, and the lady that made it, everybody's making fun of her, and it's a failure, and blah, 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 blah. Well, on a serious note, obviously there's so much demand for affordable health care in the United States that they've crashed a website that wasn't prepared for it. Even their expectations were lower. And so that's one thing. But the real issue is, why does Google Plus keep linking my YouTube channel? Like, what does it want to become one? Google Plus is not something that I enjoy. If you're a YouTuber, you know that it constantly tries to merge your accounts with Google Plus. If I have a Gmail account, it wants to be a Google Plus account. And then it's confusing because then sometimes your avatar is there, sometimes it's not. Could we figure that out? Google is one of the biggest interneting sites in the United States of America and beyond. And we can't stop trying to link us to, you know what? It's kind of like Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Google Plus a thing. It's never going to happen. Where, we watch all these movies and weird things, you know what I mean? And I would just tell you right now, I've watched enough prison movies to think about it. If I was ever on death row, what would my final meal be? Endless grilled cheese sandwiches made on Dave's Killer Bread, grilled cheese sandwiches. Oh my gosh, the best. If you haven't tried that, then are you alive? Are you dead inside? What's wrong with you? Well, I do encourage you, if you've never heard of Dave's Killer Bread and this is your first time listening to one of my podcasts, first of all, I apologize. But second of all, if you learn anything from anything I talk about or say today, go get some Dave's Killer Bread. I would have it as my last meal. Like I said, endless grilled cheese on Dave's Killer Bread. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself and see. Go to daveskillerbread.com. Maybe there's a store near you that's selling it right now, or maybe you're one of the lucky ones who can just have it delivered to your door from the internet. daveskillerbread.com. Just say no to bread on drugs.
Follow Marconi on Twitter @MarconiBologna. Get lost in his K-hole.
I watch quite a bit of movies, and my girlfriend Sierra and I, we normally like horror films, the motion pictures. Do you enjoy the motion pictures? Because, man, they're great, aren't they? We just saw that Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he breaks out of prisons for a living. That was a good one. I'll be doing a separate podcast about the actual reviews of movies. I'm just telling you now, it's a tease, I guess. Because this is like the free podcast you get with the subscription. Like, oh yeah, well, you haven't ordered the premium package yet, but this is what you get. No, I will tease you now on the movies that you should go and see. Let's see. The Conjuring was really good. I saw that. And then there was another scary movie that I can't think of the name of it. It's Insidious 2. It was great. The movie called This Is the End with Danny McBride, Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jonah Hill, and the list goes on and on of the goofballs that are. Jason Segel's in it. It's a great movie. It's kind of like if the apocalypse were to happen and they're hoarding things and they're in James Franco's mansion and it's a whole deal. So I suggest you watch that. There will be a podcast review of that in the future. Man, should I even be? I mean, it seems like a jerk move to tease it that way, and then not tell more about it. Well, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna have to live with yourselves. You've made your choices. Now lie in it.
Marconi, the Bologna Podcast.
Just so you know, I am doing this podcast right now above a man. I live on a top floor of my building, and the guy that lives below me, I think, is a meth guy. I don't know. He actually, I think, is a meth dude. So I'm not sure. You know, maybe it's Jesse Pinkman's cohorts, those two dudes that won't shut up. He slams his door like loud, and I don't know what the point is of that except for anger. And we all know that the only anger left in America comes from meth. And then he also, like today, I'm hoping he moved out, and maybe it's new neighbors that are in there. But there is an incessant amount of pounding, and it sounds like hammering. But I'm not sure. Maybe he's banging through the walls or something. There should be a movie on that, like What's My Neighbor Doing? And then there should be more movies about neighbors who don't know each other. Because do we ever talk to our neighbors anymore? I purposely, like if I actually meet a neighbor and say hi, I think, well, got to move out now. Because then you're under the obligation of like, do I invite them over for dinner? Do I have to, or is it just going to be like, hey, nice to see you? It's always like just a little bit of a thing that you're not really wanting more of a relationship. But then you're like, well, maybe I should know my neighbors. But then do I want to? Is the guy downstairs going to kill me if I get to know him a little better? I find out he's a meth dealer or worse. Man. So there's a conundrum in my head. Like you don't want to be unneighborly, but then again, in the world we live in now, maybe it's better that we just go our separate ways and turn our head and don't look at each other when we walk into our apartments.
Follow the Bologna blog on Tumblr at marconibologna.com. Enjoy the magic.
I'm very upset because I love my footballs. And by that I mean I watch the Denver Broncos. Now, a lot of people have the fantasy football leagues, and they're into 12 different teams, and they're following this guy and that guy. I don't have time for that. I'm not about that life. I like my Denver Broncos since I was a wee lad who barely could even pick up a football, let alone think about watching it on TV. And I've always liked the Denver Broncos. And now, they got Peyton Manning. And this weekend it was announced they had a bye week. There's a guy who needs several weekends off now, and that's their coach, John Fox. He has to have open heart surgery. Now, you know as well as I do, every football coach looks like the picture of health. No, actually, John Fox looks fine. Like he's an older gentleman, and I guess he has to have like a valve replaced. I just hope I never get to that point, I mean, I wish the guy well. I hope everything goes great. I'm upset because he's the head coach that's making it happen for the Denver Broncos. And, you never want to be in that position yourself, but they always say open heart surgery. Is there a surgery with the heart that's unopened? We're having unopened heart surgery today, and to assist us, we're not going to do anything. If you're the Denver Broncos, that's a lot of pressure because your coach, not only are you going to be thinking about him, but, you're going to be thinking, oh, I've got to win one for Coach Fox. We want that to go well because what's going to make him recover better is if they have a great season, then they go to the Super Bowl, right? Hopefully, Coach Fox will get to see that dream be realized, and maybe this is just the thing that will propel the Denver Broncos to win more games. So there you go. That's your inspiration right there. And speedy recovery and hurry back, Coach Fox. The Denver Broncos fans love you, and we all need you to be okay.
His name is Marconi, and this is the Bologna Podcast.
There are times when I feel that I have zero to no patience. Do we all feel this way, or is it just me? Bacon. I eat 2 pieces of turkey bacon a day. Judge me if you want to. Turkey bacon, you say, oh, gross. I don't know if you've had the bacon that I enjoy. I don't get like the rubbery strips that come from, like over-congealed nitration. I'm talking about like good old-fashioned, natural, delicious Applegate turkey bacon. It comes in giant, thick-ass strips. I think that's what it says on there, thick-ass strips of turkey bacon. If they don't, they should. But I just find that maybe I'm impatient. Maybe I've had too much coffee when I'm making the bacon. I'm like, I need bacon. Maybe I need to seek counseling. The thing I think is when that bacon is cooking, I ponder life. I ponder things. And a lot of times it's just what's going on with my life. And here are a few of the silly things that are happening. While I was making bacon today, I thought, oh man, I opened up the dishwasher. And once again, it's crammed full of dishes that haven't been washed. Do you do this? I forget every single night for, I don't know, because you think, oh, I'm going to watch a movie. I don't want this noise to be going while I'm trying to watch a motion picture film. So I say, oh, I'll do that later. We need like a reminder, maybe a dishwasher that reminds us or sends a text to our phone. Hey, you need to, we're full here. Maybe you need to push the button for go time, Johnny. You know, maybe, can the technology be made that could happen? Can somebody make some kind of an app that reminds me to hit the dishwasher before I go to sleep? And another thing, I'm all in for recycling and making the world a better place and reusing. I mean, I use my tortilla bags. I use them as Ziploc bags now. And I use the term Ziploc because then you know what I'm talking about. I put, you know, when you have cheese and then you open the cheese and then if you don't wrap it up, it goes hard and it's not, I mean, you'll still eat it because it's cheese, but it needs some kind of wrap to go around it. Well, I put mine in used tortilla bags. Yeah, take that in your move, environment. But when it comes to toilet paper, I don't seem to be a conservative. I seem to be a liberal person, and I know we live in a world where, you know, you try to use as little as possible and try to keep your carbon footprint low. But when it comes to that area of life, I just can't. And I want to be clean, so I get the flushable wipes. Now, that's the finishing move. You go with the toilet paper, and then you go with the flushable wipe. In fact, it makes you feel like you should feel. Like you could get up and tap dance and run down the street singing. And often I do. That's why my neighbors look away when I walk by. But the thing that I am embarrassed about is I'm talking to you this about into a microphone, staring at a computer screen where I don't have to actually deal with real humans. But in real life, I'm embarrassed to buy these things at the grocery store. Now, isn't that weird? Because I am a guy who you wouldn't think is shy, but I actually, in real life, kind of am. In fact, to prove that, there are things I'm embarrassed about. Okay, buying toilet paper. I have to buy like a 2-month supply. I get the biggest amount, like a Costco or whatever, and then I get the flushable wipes. I get, you know, the refills, all that kind of stuff. The hard part is when you need toilet paper and you don't need other items going into the grocery store. You're like, oh, I'll just get a jar of peanut butter and a giant thing of toilet paper. No, you got to get a bunch of things. It just, the balance of it is a thing. So you have to do it. And I get as much toilet paper, so it is the longest amount of time before I have to do it again. So if I could send my girlfriend on just a toilet paper run, I would. But, you know, I'm not like that. I'm a gentleman. So I just buy as much as I can at once. But that's something I'm embarrassed about to go to the store and buy. The other thing is and this is, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just society telling me not to enjoy incredibly delicious things. But I love pumpkin spice lattes. There, I said it. Most guys won't admit that. They are delicious. And I know, yes, they're white girl drinks. We all know this. They're on Instagram every, I think, 30 seconds. There's like 70,000 pictures of pumpkin spice latte cups. But I go to the coffee store with my girlfriend. Since I have a lovely girlfriend, she gets it. She gets me. And she knows that no guy wants to stand there and say, I like a tall, no whip, skinny pumpkin spice latte. No guy wants to say that. So my girlfriend says it for me. And I'm glad to pay for it. You know, I'm happy to put my card down and say, here, while the person looks at me like, why can't you just order your own drink? We know it's you. We know you're the one ordering the no whip, skinny, tall pumpkin spice latte. Fatty. Do you do weird things like that? Are you a toilet paper weirdo? Do you have to buy as much toilet paper as possible because you hate buying things? Do you make your girlfriend order your girly coffee drinks? Or do you have any? Can you relate to any of this? I'd like to know. Speakpipe.com/Marconi Bologna if you're that kind of savvy.
Marconi Bologna.
Well, I'm sure I could waste a lot more of your time and just talk about everything that comes to my brain, but I have reviewed and given you a lot of things to contemplate. So I hope that helps. And like I said, if there's not enough podcasts in your life, I'm going to be doing another one soon called the Pet Podcast. And it's all about pets and, answering questions. We'll be talking to professionals. If you have pets and have questions about their behavior, how you can stop them from peeing on the rug, or whatever it might be. Maybe, your dog has a panty fetish. I certainly hope not. But pets are weird. The Pet Podcast is coming soon to an internet near you. If you want more information or how to find it, just go to petpodcast.org. I've wasted enough of your time. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back again next week with another Baloney podcast, or maybe I won't. I don't want to predict the future because, maybe Monday will come around and I'll be like, no, I don't have anything to say this week. Maybe I've got more important things to do. Maybe I've got a lunch date that I need to get to desperately, or a meeting, of some kind. Maybe my therapist is like, we're going to do a double session today. I heard your last podcast. But for all intents and purposes, I'm probably going to be doing these every week. So keep checking in and follow us there on Spreaker or wherever. Where do you listen? Let me know. I always like to hear from you. You can leave a message on speakpipe.com/Marconi Bologna or call the old-fashioned way, if you're more comfortable with that, 323-393-3737. Thank you both for listening. Until next time, my name is Bolognius Francine Marconi saying, see ya.
The Marconi Bologna Podcast.